Well, it's Saturday night. I'm kind of in deep thought again, but we'll talk about it here in a few seconds. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get things started like we always do and say those magic words and get things rolling for a bit. So, here we go.
All right, you want to fight crime? Let's get dangerous.
And yes, it is. It is showtime, and welcome to another episode of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. I'm your host, Joe D. McPhee here, and it's been one of those days today, but nevertheless here, let's not forget about one person who have shown up today that I haven't seen in quite a bit. So therefore, we're going to do this here. We're going to talk about the Independent Creators Directory because Joe Bob that was for Joe Bachman, the Independent Creator Directory. So if you need a spot or a platform on the interwebs, hit up Joe Bachman at the Independent Creator Directory, where you could be around like-minded creators like myself, who is also a client. And you can also be around other like-minded individuals, have a place to advertise your wares, just in case places like Facebook, Twitter, X, or Twitter, Tumblr, whatever you use, go down. You have a spot right there that people can still look you up and find your information here. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get the other stuff out the way here, such as Stupid O'Clock happens 1 hour into the show. Hopefully, we'll be done by 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for you guys to view that without any problems here, unless we get into a good conversation about something. Then that is followed up by Stupid O'Clock at 1 a.m. And then that gets a little bit of a respite till Monday for Nevermind the Furthermore at 10 a.m. Eastern on Monday. And let's not forget about Comic Book Spectrum Thursdays, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on this channel. And let's see a couple of things here because you know what time it is. You know what time it is. I'm going to test people because why? It is time once again for new comic book pickups for the week here. Welcome to another rousing episode of, if I can say it in this aspect, new comic book pickups of the week. We got a stack that is right here. Stuff is going to storage here, and we're pretty much going to go ahead and go through these things real quick. Starting with, looks like we got X-Men Unlimited number 6 here. Came this week here, as well as another copy of a second printing of She-Hulk number 31. I didn't realize that this was a second printing. I thought it was just a regular alternate cover, but no, that was a second printing. So I didn't know that issue 31 went through 2 different printings here. We got a copy of the second volume of Green Hornet number 28. Then something that most people did not know that I was a fan of, but we've got Captain Harlock number 1, 3, and 4 from Eternity Comics here, as well as Captain Victory number 5, a book that I have history with here, and I'm glad that I got a better copy of it. Eventually, I'm going to get one of them actually graded. I'll probably get the signed one graded though, but this book is noteworthy. Prudence and Caution number 1 from Defiant. The reason I explained the reason several times, so I won't get into it. But if you want to know, just let me know in the comments. I'll go ahead and talk about that later. And then we also got Dogs of War number 1. We got Doom Patrol number 21. A copy of Voodoo number 2 here. And this is an Adam Hughes cover. That's the only reason why this was even noteworthy here. Variant edition of Moon Knight number 0. Avengers 255. And a book that I overpaid for, not because of my own will, but if it's because of the way that it was sold here. This is the Ashcan version of Film Force. It is the Ashcan version called Timelines, issue number 1 for the Ashcan here. Captain America 373. This is one of the issues dealing with Diamondback and the Black Widow. And one of my favorite issues of What If number 34. And this is more of the humor issue. Starting off with what if no one was watching a watcher, and everything in the book is supposed to be like a spoof of on like Mad Magazine type stuff here. Got another copy of She-Hulk number 26. And then I got a variant copy of Jessica Jones number 13. I didn't realize that this was another variant copy here. We got 2 different copies of Empress number 1. So we got 2 different variant covers for Empress. I know somewhere in storage I have the blanks for Empress, so I'm not overly concerned here. But we got some more Spider-Woman. We got another copy of Spider-Woman number 4. I finally got a copy of issue number 2, and another copy of issue number 3 of, I think that's volume 5 of Spider-Woman. G.I. Joe number 26. I'm kind of upset about this because they didn't state that this was actually the second printing of 26. But I also got G.I. Joe number 29. And for the not safe for work crowd, we got Lord Ferris Slave Master number 2. For the not safe for work crowd, another copy of A-Force number 1. That's going to storage. Batman and Robin 0 going to storage. Okay, so we're adding on to our Silver Sable collection, getting closer and closer to a full run of that here. That's issue number 23. Another copy of Daredevil 256. We got Superman presenting the Phantom Zone number 1. We got Wonder Woman number 16. This is an extra copy. And we got a Jughead number 153, so I need to get that bagged and board soon. We got another copy of Fantastic Four 268, Silver Sable number 15, another copy of Red Sonja number 2, Now, this was an interesting one here. This is Red Sonja 1973. So, this is kind of like one of those prestige books by Dynamite that highlights some of the things from 1973 version of Red Sonja. We got Spider Woman number 6. This is a variant cover, I believe. So, we got that. We got Marvel 2 in 1 number 19 with Thing and Tigra. Another copy of Wonder Woman number 9. We'll talk about that hopefully soon. That I'll just go ahead and save it for later here. We got Catwoman number 64, Amazon number 1, and then we got some X-Men books from the recent series. Not recent, one of the series that I didn't realize that I was actually collecting. Here we got issue number 2 here, and then Uncanny X-Men number 6. X-Men number, well, we got a whole bunch of X-Men books from issue number 4 to a whole bunch of other things here. I'm not going to open it up, but once I get the storage here, but well, actually, let me go ahead and do so. Let's just keep it real in that aspect here. So, like I said, we got issue 4 there, and then this is issue 3, so 3 and 4. So we had 2 in the other pouch there. We have 7. All New X-Men number 30, and All New X-Men number 38. So that was all in that one bag here, and that was sold as a set. So that's, interesting in that aspect here. And now these books won't go back in the bag. No, what? Just leave it like that and just use that. I probably put the Jughead up in that one. Oh yeah, we got another bag that we got to open here. Okay, we got multiple comics, I believe. It's not just 2, it's multiple. No, but what's wrong? It's just only 2, so I could seal this back here. But eventually, when I get to storage, I have to open it up. We got a Catwoman 57, as well as Soul Plumber number 5 or 6 here. And we got a whole bunch of She-Hulk. So we got Immortal She-Hulk number 1. And then from this latest series of She-Hulk, we got 2 extra variant copies of Sensational She-Hulk number 1. And something that I won on a actual sale here, which is Secret Empire hardcover graphic novel. So I got the whole cover story here, and then one of the last books here for this week is Dingbats. Well, actually, first issue special. Welcome to the Dingbats of Danger Street. So that was the original Dingbats of Danger Street that was a part of the whole Tom King's Danger Street series here. That was where those characters came from. And pretty much that's all the pickups for this week here. I will toss it back over to Joe and have a good rest of the show here. And there you have it. See, I shouldn't have done what I done, but Carl noticed it right away. But I'm up here, it was like I wanted to test people because I'm in a green shirt. So when that started, you should have seen the black shirt. It's like, oh, this should be pre-recorded. And I started to make certain that you guys noticed the difference in dress here. So, but yes, I did take that advice to heart here, and yes, I did take that advice here. And actually, Joe, you missed last week's. Last week's were worse. Last week's were worse than that. You had to be here. You had to be here last week. Last week was at least three times the length of that. Everything seemed to came in at one time. I was watching it straight this time. But I did take the advice. It's like, you never know when somebody comes in. So it's like, every 30 seconds or so pops up. This is a recording. This is pre-recorded. This is pre-recorded. So with that being stated here, what happened today? Pretty much we had our bi-weekly WhatNot show. And was it successful? I mean, $13 is $13. It's $13 I didn't have, you know, prior to today. So you can't complain in that aspect here. But again, I get how people would be ready to downplay the platform. And I just up here, it comes back to me thinking about, and that's the reason why I was in deep thought most of the time after the WhatNot show. It's like, you know what? I might have to grow an audience over there at WhatNot. And because I'm not a comic book retailer and I'm more of a publisher, I need to figure out a way to talk more about my books and sell my books there, in addition to whatever books that I'm selling from my own collection. I think I did okay. I tried to, mix in, advertising my books and talking about my books in between. Parallax was there. She could vouch that I tried to, mingle in those books and talk about them and everything here. But it's, for me, it's kind of hard to stay positive when you know that your variety of books available may not meet most of the criteria for those that do patronize on a platform such as WhatNot. I'm not one into speculative books, and a lot of the stuff that I'm selling is not newer modern stuff that people have been speculating on to make big money. And then on top of that, I'm not speculating on investor books either. So this is like extra books that I have that I was like, okay, I have extra of these. I know that there's collectors of these series. Where are you guys at? Because I'm trying to do this as a, kind of like a deep discount here. And I did try to mix things up, even though this was a leftover shows from like the first four shows that I did. I added more newer stuff to the lineup for auctions and everything. And it's still kind of like the same thing. It's kind of like a mixed bag here. It's like, unless you have like a consistent following of people who buy from you, it's going to be tedious. And this is kind of like the thing that they told us in the seminar that I was invited to, that if you give it at least 6 months or 7 months, you'll build up the credibility and build up that audience where people will know and come and buy from you. But the thing about it is, it's kind of like that give and take aspect too, because I'm the type of person that's like, I know that there's people out there or WhatNot that goes out there just about every day or every other day. And then there's people like me that does it like twice a week. And I know some people that does it once a month. And we all have to build our bases or our fan base. I shouldn't say fan base, but our audience a little bit differently because of the frequency of where we're on. And let's see, I just saw something here. Yeah, he was just making a smooth transition that you don't realize it was pre-recorded until you see the shirt. Yeah, yeah, and that's the key thing here. That transition is just more along the lines like, it shouldn't matter if it's pre-recorded or not, as long as it's new comic book pickups of the day, and I explain what books came in and whether or not it was pre-recorded or not. It doesn't matter. It does help if I wear the same stuff, from earlier this morning to now. If I was wearing the same stuff, it makes it almost more seamless, and then I could play it off as like, no, I'm paying attention to you. But I tried to do that the last time, and people got confused, so that's the reason why I did it. Yeah, right, Donna. Plus, I was looking down at the cat last week. Okay, that explains a lot here. But as I was saying about WhatNot, you know, the one thing that they do force on your hands if you do sell through WhatNot is that you have to have fast shipping. You have to be able to pack the stuff up, get the stuff printed out, labeled, and mailed out within 2 days. And when I say 2 days, it's 2 business days. So since I have like a Saturday show Saturday show, technically my 2 days would be not today. It would actually start Monday. So Monday, Tuesday would be like my packing days to make certain I have it out. If I don't have it out by Wednesday, they can do something to my account if need be, but they're not always looking at are you doing it exactly 2 days. They just want to make certain that people get their stuff timely because that's one of their claims to fame. It's like fast turnaround. And there's Elaine here saying running in to say hi. So hi. Yep. Hi, hey Elaine. You missed the tape portion of the show. Yeah, she did. She missed the new comic books that came in over the week here. But saying all that to say, it just kind of weighs on you because like a lot of times I feel like I'm not the best seller there is. You know, sales is kind of like one of my weak points in being in this industry here. And weak points not saying that I can't sell books. It's more along the lines of I'm not that person that comes off like that salesman that can sell everything at any given time. I'm up here like I pay attention to how people reacting and everything, and I try to adjust accordingly here. And she said, "It's like I caught the tail end of it." Okay, yeah, I had to charge my phone a bit and play a ton of music because I'm working in the studio. Yep, she's always in the studio. She's constantly working. That's a good sign here. Speaking of studios, I actually worked in Dawes Studio over this week, and I got what page 7 and started on page 8 of Primetime Saturday Night #5. So outside of the Nature's Disaster match, I'm getting close to the midway point between Maxi Muscle and Brickhouse. So I have like two of the matches done. One of the side scenes is already done. That was only one page here, and I believe there's only two more matches after this one before we actually have like a finished book. So even finding time to do that now with this with this schedule with WhatNot is really kind of bumming me out too because I just feel like I have not been as creative. Yeah, I have to check WhatNot out sometime. Yeah, because it's a good platform and like it's and one of the things that people were up here saying is like out of all the people that I have bought stuff from, they don't realize that I'm an actual seller. And then when they find out, it's like, well, when did you become a seller? It's like I really didn't apply to become a seller. They reached out to me, and that was the weird thing. I got that mysterious email out of nowhere saying it's like, hey, we would like for you to sell on WhatNot and this, that, and the other. We would like to talk to you about it in this webinar. So I went to the webinar just out of curiosity. And at the end of the webinar, they say, here's all your rights and privileges. Go ahead and schedule a first show. And I was like, okay. I might do a show later on this month. It's like, no, you got, and then that's when they say, no, it's like if you go ahead and do it within the first week, we'll give you all of these extra bonuses and everything where you could advertise and do all this other stuff. So within that first week, they gave us like $25 to advertise on the platform and all this other nice bells and whistle type stuff. But after that first show, it just like everything seems to kind of like, you know, goes down here. And now it's about to get, trying to get it to go back up because that very first show was lucrative. That was the first time that, in a long while that it's like I had like a comic sale that was actually lucrative because they gave you advertising money, they gave you all the stuff to get people into your area at the time that you go on. And then after that, they're hoping that you spend your money on that. And it's like, yeah, we could get the word out different ways and this, that, and the other. And we get people to come in. We just don't get them to stay because of just the way that things are. And Elaine is talking to Donna, and it's like I watched Joe on the telly and chat using the phone. Yep. Oh my God, someone is shooting off fireworks again. Oh, it's going to be that way into maybe sometime in August, at least here. I mean, we haven't even been a week out of 4th of July. I mean, it's been starting ever since June here. Ever since mid-June, people have been shooting off fireworks. Yeah, the cats are not happy. Yeah, a lot of animals are not happy. I get it's like I get to add that to your profile. Yeah, no, it's another platform now that I'm on. I've been on it for maybe like two months now, a little over 2 months. Do I like it? Mm, it is extra income, not a whole bunch of income. It's about the same amount as I would look at Patreon. Patreon is only a couple of bucks a month, and this is still a couple of bucks per month. But at least this is money that I could put to the side and everything. If I like, for example, if I need like $100 or something to pay for something, I could take it out of the whatnot, my whatnot earnings and send it to my bank that way. I mean, it's just, something simple. And it's actually can function as another storefront if you actually use it correctly. But you have to build up your customer base first. And if you build up your customer base right, it can be a good storefront for you. But it's just not something that is just easy. Everybody's looking for something that's easy and quick fix to get in, to get out, to make your money. And whatnot is not that. You have to have personality. And one of the things that they even said is in the seminar, it's like sometimes you need to be in front of the camera. And a lot of people don't want to be in front of the camera. My current setup does not allow me to have my setup the way that I want it. So pretty much I have like the table that's right behind me and a couple of standards, and I got books and stuff there. I got a couple of pop figures. At least today I spruced it up with a couple of pop figures and went from there. But as you grow, you get to do different stuff and have everything. But one of the things that I beginning to notice, and one of the things that I honestly will not go to, and I detest these types of things here on any platform. I will not do a mystery draw. I despise them because the mystery draws that I see out there or whatnot, they would say that the floor is maybe like $5, but the ceiling might be a $200 book. And most of the stuff that's in that mystery draw is common stuff that they inflate the price of. And you're supposed to be happy with that. And I was like, yeah, those books are not as expensive as what you think they are. But again, that comes from being in the market of speculation and everything to that magnitude. So I won't ever do that here. And the other thing that I have postponed in doing, I postponed in doing regular giveaways in shows here because giveaways, I'm responsible for the shipping, meaning that if I gave away a book in the middle of a whatnot show, the person who wins it gets it for free, but whatnot charges me for the shipping. So that cuts into my sales for that show for every book that is a freebie. Now, the buyer's giveaway acts a little bit different. The buyer's appreciation acts a little bit different because the person has bought something, the actual shipping cost goes dramatically down. The more that they buy, the shipping cost goes more, drops dramatically. So if they win a buyer's appreciation giveaway, I'm paying like pennies on the dollar as opposed to $8, $9 for shipping off of a book. So that's the key difference there. Okay, it's like I sent the link to your page on there. Okay, not a problem. Cool. Yeah, it's like I added to your profile. Thank you. ICD, yeah, in Independence Creator Directory. My intention is to apply to your registry in September. Yep. I kind of wish you would have did it before the beginning of the year because it would have been $20 instead of the 40. But it's a good, like I said, it's a good platform for us as creatives, because if something did happen to Facebook, if something did happen to X, if something did happen to Tumblr, if something did happen to all these other social media platforms, we still have this website that has our information where people can go to and still interact with us. And that's the cool thing about it. And it's like, yeah, awesome, to be sure to use podcast one when you sign up so you get 50. Oh, cool. So that's a cool thing to know. Podcast one is a code here. Yeah, I have to pay the state treasurer $75 next month for my annual business report. Yeah. Oh, great. Now you made me think about the money that I owe my lawyer. Okay, I gotta get on this. I gotta get on the ball for a lot of things here, but it would be taken care of. We got things that we got to take care of here. Always got to think business. Always got to think about making sure bills stuff get paid and making sure stuff gets done. But that's the kind of thing here. And it's like I noticed that with all my other whatnot wrap ups, I never talked about post show like I've been talking about right now. I always talked about, yeah, I got the new stuff packed up and everything, but I never talk about how I feel after. And after, it's like it's not even like a, oh my goodness, I feel like a failure type feeling. It's like, no, it's more along the lines like, well, what can I do more to get people engaged in buying from me more so than anything else? It's like, sometimes I'm up there thinking, it's like, am I selling the wrong books? And it's like, I can't, it's like, it's not me selling the wrong books because I'm not a comic book store. I'm not going out buying people's collections and trying to resell it. That's not what I do. I am a comic book publisher. I have my own books, but I'm also selling off a lot of my extras to kind of make a little bit of passive income as I create books here. And that's the cool thing here. It's like I know, but my financial situation right now. I got money going out faster than it coming in. Yeah, I understand that. And that's one of the reasons why, people like me is up here. It's like when they asked me to come on to whatnot, I was like, okay, I take a chance at it. That first show was a little bit lucrative, and I was like, okay, it could be a means of passive income. And so every 2 weeks, let me try my luck here. And if you do it long enough, you might end up getting a following where you could go ahead and make some real money off of it. Yeah, we all know that feeling here, Lane. I agree with Joe Bach. Yep. But that's kind of like the thing, the reason why I kind of sit back and think about this type of stuff after these whatnot shows, because if I keep up with it, it's going to have to turn into a means for me to sell what we create as opposed to selling what is popular. It got to be that mix. We have to have people that want to come in here to get that next issue of Amazonia or that next issue of Primetime Saturday Night or that next issue of AWF eventually for it to really work. If not, then I have to go back to the original plan and figure out what we're going to do for distribution outside of our own particular website and crowdfunding campaigns. Because, be quite honest with you, I'm burnt out with crowdfunding. I don't think I have a audience really big enough for crowdfunding for it to be relatively lucrative for it to be stable. But then again, with me trying all these different platforms and everything too, all at the same time. Well, I should say all at the same time. My success with crowdfunding seems to be about the same with whatnot. So that makes me wonder if I could get a bigger following on whatnot, would I really need to do uh, Kickstarter? And if I still did Kickstarter with the whatnot people and the people who come to the website and the people who buy at shows, will they still participate and buy in that aspect here? But the main goal is I need some type of distribution bigger than that. Would it be nice to get into like a penguin or a lunar or a diamond? Probably, but that's a whole nother set of headaches to deal with because you don't get paid right away when you get into the bigger distribution. And what do I mean by that? It's like, yeah, you might get a purchase order for, you know, 2,000 comic books, 5,000 comic books, but they will hold your payout for those books based upon how well they sold those books. The distributors themselves sold those books. So if they give you an order for 5,000 and they only sold four, that money that you would have made from 5,000 gets cut down to four, and then it gets delayed at least 60 to 90 days since they bought them. So let's just say you got into like diamond. Now the key thing about distribution on that level is always best to have multiple issues already done in the hopper when they approach you. Meaning that if you got a year's worth of books already done, where you can say, you can put out a book a month, that puts you ahead of the game because that means by the time you get done with issue 13, 14, or 15, you would have made money off of issue one, two, three, four in that first 4 or 5 months or 6 months into that year when they picked you up because you're not always beholden to that money for making the next issue. Meaning that your sales from issue number one does not impact you creating issue 13. So yeah, we have a higher printing cost, but that printing cost gets offset by their by what they buy it what price that they buy it at, and then on top of that, that money that you make off of that one issue sale does not impact the money that you already have set aside to make the following issue 13, 14, and 15. And the same thing goes for issue number two. The only time you have to worry about that is when they catch up, when those numbers actually catch up, when you get to that, oh, we're at issue 16 and we're just now creating issue 16. That's when it becomes a problem. But when you're ahead of the game, you don't have to worry about that aspect here. But that's a bigger goal to worry about here. Yeah, that's going to take some serious audience building, and it's going to take a lot to do that. And people underestimate that. People underestimate audience building. And to be quite honest, I honestly don't know how big my audience is even right now. I still feel that I'm a small fish. I'm a small fish in a small pond. I don't carry a lot of weight. At least I don't think in any major circles. To be quite honest here, I do know some people, but I'm not out there making waves and people having to like knock other people over to get my signature or anything like that. I'm a tiny fish, tiny fish here, and there's too many sharks out there. There's too many sharks, too many whales, too many other predatory fish out there in that small pond that I gotta work, look out for and navigate through and eventually, get whatever food that I can to grow into where I need to grow. And getting that audience is the major thing here. One of the things that we have done with even with this show is we actually changed the format. A lot of people want me to go back into the interview side. I was like, no, I can't really do that because not everybody is here to look at what is the next Kickstarter for the week here or the next Kickstarter for the month. And then those that I do want to have on here, they're not going to be available each and every week. And I don't really want to do a panel show because that doesn't necessarily highlight any one person or get people to know the individual like how it is here where we're completely interactive. It's like you guys get to know me, I get to know you, we get to ask questions amongst one another, and we get, have a good conversation with it. The one other thing that I'm kind of, if I could say, melancholy about is the fact that we moved how he does it over to the Patreon. And I know I haven't been doing a whole bunch of those episodes because, again, with the every 2 weeks with the whatnot shows, and then every Saturday morning going to storage until we get those books and stuff organized the proper way. It's just been too much of a hassle to do the thoughts, how he does it, to show you guys how I create the characters, how I do the stuff for primetime Saturday night. I have done previous videos that is out here on the channel, but it's not the same. It's like, to me, how he does it is my drawstring. While other people are sitting up here, on a tablet, and they're going to town drawing, how he does it is that for me. And I know that that type of stuff is not for everybody because I get to be Bob Ross, and I know, sometimes it's like it could get boring, and it's not, motion filled, and it's not very interactive, and you could get, kind of tired and sleepy and fall asleep on it. I get it, but at least you get to see how the sausage is made in that aspect here. That I'm just not somebody out here claiming that I know how to do comics. You get to see me do the work. And that is, more or less a means of showing the street cred that I actually have in making comics. Eventually I go ahead and get put back, hook back up my tablet soon, and how he does it will, when I get back to doing Amazonia, when I finally scan the stuff in on my 13 by 19 scanner, when I scan in the pencils, when I started doing the inking and all the other stuff. All that stuff is going to come to how he does it. But I've been away from it. I've been away from it, at least as far as doing it live. Am I not doing it for the books? No, I'm still doing it. I mean, I could show you panels and stuff that I've been doing as of late. But it's not the same to see the after effect. People want to see how does this stuff works, especially in the day of people using AI for everything. They think what I'm doing in DAW Studio is AI. Is like, no, it's not. What people do in DAW Studio, what people do in Ray Dream Studio, what people do in Corel Paint, what people do anything in 3D, it is not the same thing as AI. Granted, AI is a tool, but it should be a tool. It should not be a crutch. It should not be the means, the sole means of a person's creativity. Meaning that, think about all the great sculptors in the world. All the great sculptors still have to go to that one piece of rock with a hammer and chisel and learn the basics. Same thing with all the great painters in the world. They eventually have to go to a canvas and with some paint and some charcoal pencils and learn the basics. Even with comic artistry, we all have to grab a pencil and paper, eventually graduate to Bristol board, and we have to learn the basics. You can't just sidestep basics because it becomes obvious when you sidestep the basics. And that's what some of the AI stuff does. It allows people to sidestep the basics. They don't have to worry about it. They count on a quote unquote machine to take care of it. Now, the problem here is that the machine cannot create stuff out of the ether. It has to have information. Where it gets this information from? I highly doubt that those who create these AI platforms have the rights and privileges to all the artwork that they use to allow their product to generate the artwork that they do. Just saying. Do I shoot the tool down? No, it's a tool. It's no more than a tool than how these Sharpie pens are to me. But do I use the Sharpie pens as a crutch? No. Should we use AI as a crutch? No. But there are too many people that are, and too many people saying that this is the way for the future to minimize the need for basic skills. And that's what it boils back down to. If you know the basics and you can operate in the basics, the rest will come and follow. You don't have to have Photoshop to have the best image out there as long as you know the basics of coloring. You don't have to have the latest and greatest tool as long as you have the basics. When you have the basics, you can use anything to its greatest ability to produce what you need to produce here. But that's just me. That's just me, and that's how I look at it. And so we got people saying growing an audience is tough. Yeah, we sell okay at shows, but that's not really how to get an audience. Exactly. Exactly. People sales and audience are not the exact same thing. You can have somebody that buys something and still not like it and still not be a part of your audience. And you can still have people that buy something from you that likes it and still not be a part of your audience. They might just like that one time purchase and that's it. Yeah, I still take the time to take tutorials from guys like Robert Marzullo and others here on YouTube. Yep. Oh, whatever happened to the one that you sent me over to, Jazza? Because I haven't seen anything new from him as of late. Just thinking about that here. Yeah, there are a lot of artists using Krita and other programs. Yeah, but the thing about it is, when you say other artists, I'm taking it in the same aspect as they know the basics, so they know what can be done and how to explain it in such a way and know the basics to know if like something is wrong with an image or something seems artificial in that aspect here. Well, yeah, I am worn out today. Going to make it an early evening. Have a great evening. Okay, Carl, have a great evening and everything. I hope that everything works out, and hopefully the fireworks and stuff ends very soon for the cats to calm down here. Yeah, Jazz posted on FB. He was uber disrespectful of Bob Ross. Really? I did not know that Jazz was disrespectful of Bob Ross. That was it. That's interesting. That's interesting. I would have never known that. I would have never known that. Yeah, I have a young cousin who wants to be an artist. I want to get her talking to folks that could encourage her and teach her the ropes, so to say. Yeah. Now, mind you, I never had professional training. When I say professional training, I'm talking about I never had art training in a level of collegiate. We all had art in like elementary school and high school, and a lot of my high school stuff was more intense and everything like that. And then some of the extracurricular school activities that was art based, handled that, but I never had anything that was university level. So that goes a long way, and a lot of times it's like those who have been traditionally trained at a university setting go a lot further than those who have to pick it up on their own and have to do it by itself. Just like musicians that play by ear that never actually had actual physical training. They picked it up by ear. They have to learn and they coordinate themselves. That to me sticks. To me that puts them at a different level than something that is classically trained because they discovered how to go about it. They have a natural sense for that type of stuff. Donna is like I have some beginner supplies, paper, watercolor pencils, markers. Yeah, Now you're making me think about all the mechanical pencils and stuff that I have up there. Yep, beginner supplies. I don't know. I've never been one for watercolor pencils. Mostly, most of my stuff would have been like mechanical pencils, whatever Crayola, whatever Cray, and that's surprise, and that's where I go to surprise a lot of people. Whatever Crayola color pencils I could get my hands over to. I rather use the cheapo color pencils that at least I could get some sort of blending out of in the long run. But I'm happy with like my Prismacolor markers. I haven't gone over to Copic as of yet. As many times people was like, Copic's better. It's like, yeah, but I'm used to how Prismacolor works. I'm used to those markers more so than anything. They're a little bit cheaper, but not by much. But I'm used to how it works here. Let's see. Wally Beckett is an amazing artist, and as it gets, Happy D and Danella Sims are also great and do decent videos. Greg Simpkins, okay. Yeah, her folks are supportive, but to be truthful, you're never going to have the money to do the art school or anything like that. So, to be quite honest here, if she really wants to get into art and she can't get into art school, this is where she needs to be introduced to some of the higher level artists and see if she could get an apprenticeship in some type of aspect that way. Become somebody's assistant or get some type of apprenticeship that way to work with a actual practicing artist that is actually doing business, not just somebody that just does it for fun. She needs to be paired up with somebody that really has a business acumen for this. That would be my suggestion around it, because I kind of wish I had somebody that would have took me up under my wings a little bit earlier. But by the time I really got serious into comics and they actually saw that I had several issues up under my belt, that's when they really took time and interest in me and tried to help me get better at a lot of the stuff that I didn't know about. But the sooner that they could get into, the people who actually is doing the work, I mean, literally doing the work like on a daily basis, the faster she could get better at things here. Oh, you use Prismacolor pencils. Yeah, they are pretty nice. Thanks, Elena. I think she really needs a creative community. Yeah, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot, and if she could get around people at her level, and then some people who are doing it on a daily basis, you can see her trajectory get better and better and better and better, because she would have that encouragement, and then people that would challenge her to move her to that next level. And that's the kind of like the thing with art. People get, if I could say, settled in or into a groove where they're not getting challenged. And when you don't have a challenge, your your standard of work plateaus. You always have to have that challenge as you grow, one way or the other. Our family is majority blue collar, and as another creative in the family, I feel that the need, yeah. But again, this is the one thing, and I think you might disagree with this here, Donna, but I don't look at this as blue collar, white collar, because the more I've been around blue collar people, the more creative that they are, and that's just from just life experience. They're just more creative, and they're more creative because their minds think in the way of being creative to see the things that could be or as they should be and figure out the way to get there. Most white collar people, they would have an idea and they were like, okay, that's my idea. That's my idea. Let me see who can make it for me. They have no clue of how to conceptualize it. Blue collar people, we would see something and we'll go to town and make it work. We're just that way. Now, mind you, I kind of have a white collar job now, but but being from a blue collar family, you kind of see that. You know, blue collar people have are mechanically inclined for a reason. It's not just one of those things that's like, oh, it's a skill or something like that, or we just have this acronym. It's like, no, we're that inclined for a reason. We see these things as this. That's just the way that it is. Right, Joe? That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Yeah, there are some really great courses she could take online. Oh yeah, Clip Studio Paint does have some nice tutorials here, and I would say, well, I was going to say another one, but I don't think that that's out there anymore. I forgot what the e-learning is like. Udemy used to be where if you bought courses from them, once you bought the course, you have access to it for a lifetime. And I bought a couple of courses from like this one artist here, and I still have access to all those videos and everything through my Udemy account. So yeah, there's a lot of tutorial stuff that you could get here. CSP, yeah, Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Paint. Who owns Clip Studio Paint now? Because it used to be Meta Creations, and Meta Creations got bought out by somebody else, and that company got bought out by somebody else. So I don't remember who has Clip Studio Paint now, who owns it here. And so Elaine said I can send you a list of artists that I follow. Just tell me what kind of art she enjoys. Well, I've seen her work. She's good at. Oh, so she's more of an anime type style artist. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Joe. I just know my dad's family. You should have been there when they found out that I was a secretary bookkeeper. You don't have a real job. When they going to have you lift up something? That's like that ain't nothing. That's like opening and closing a book ain't nothing. When they going to have you to lift something real? Yeah, I can see that argument here. Wiley Beckett has done cards for Magic, yeah, Hearthstone, and others. She's produced a really gorgeous playing card decks. Yep. Michael actually put out tutorials. Yes, Celsius. Yeah, I couldn't remember it because it was so many different corporations that got bought out before Celsius has Clip Studio Paint. Because I remember Clip Studio Paint back in the days where it was Manga Studio, because everybody was trying to run to get Manga Studio because that was the alternative of using Photoshop for everything. Yep, Celsius now owns Clip Studio Paint. Sarah Fabrizi does lovely work, Donna. So if she does work like Jaden Lanning here, Elaine, she wants to have something that's more like manga style or fusion style. That's from my recollection here. If you're referencing Jada Lanning style is more manga fusion influence than anything else, and she does good work too. That's just me. That's just me speaking from my point of view of seeing her work. So if Donna's cousin is on that level, you probably want to guide her more towards those that are working in the more manga or fusion style art scene here. Fabrizio does lovely manga influence work. Yep. So that would be the type of links and stuff that I would send to Donna's cousin at that point. So, gang, is we're almost at the 1 hour mark, and I don't think we're going to be talking too much more unless you guys got something else on the mind here. But I spoke my mind as far as what was going on with whatnot and the way I was feeling here, and kind of gave you kind of like the after whatnot sale briefing and where I'm at, and where my mindset is at this point here. My major concern right now is just trying to keep the revenue trying to come in, even if it's like go out there and make $15, $20 here and there, it's still $20 towards moving forward, more so than anything else here. Oh, Sarah Fabrizi. Okay. I would appreciate those links here. Thanks, guys. Not a problem. Not a problem here, Donna. And that's again, that's what community is here for. Like I said, the reason why we promote the Independent Creators Directory is for exactly that reason. It's like, hey, we got somebody new coming here that wants to sit at the table. What do they need to do to get here? And it's like, well, just have them sit at the table, and we'll get them squared away and see what they can do. It takes them to do the work. Only thing we could do is give them information. Once we give them the information, they still have to do the work for them to stay at the table. But the table is there. They just have to step up to it, sit down, and listen. Listen and take the information down. Donna, I will make a list and give it to you Thursday. I follow a minimum of 25 manga folks. Yeah, she does. She does. She follow more manga folks than I do. And I don't really follow manga that much, but I do know a few manga artists that I could, I'll be like, okay, call this person up, or talk to this person. But Elaine's people would probably be the ones that you want to talk to more so, because they're the ones that actually does the tutorials more so than anything else. What manga has a comic that is pretty successful? That's a strange question, because the way I read that, it's like what comic has a comic that's pretty successful. It's like I really wouldn't know, but I get your point. It's like oh, see, all the stuff that I know about that's manga related as old. I don't know what's new out there. I don't know what's new out there. I don't follow every last new stuff with manga. Right, Joe. I told her today that she needs to connect with our community. Yep. Thanks, Elaine. Half your yeah, Apple Black. Um, Apple Black is the name of the manga itself. I forgot the name of the artist behind it. What manga is the young black man who is really good at? Yeah, we were talking about that. He does Apple Black. The guy who does Apple Black is the one that he actually made it on his own, and he actually has done several videos talking about the difference between how manga is done in Japan versus here. And for those artists who are practicing manga here, he said, yeah, we have to step up our game. And this is how we have to step up our game based upon what he knows about how they operate over there in Japan. And I forgot what his name is, but he has done several great videos dealing with that aspect here. I just can't think of his name. Yeah, white manga. Yeah. Yeah, white manga. Yep, that's him. Once you spelled it out, it's like, yep, that's him. That's the guy that does Apple Black. Yeah, autocorrect is killing me. Yep, I can understand. I can understand Elaine here. So, guys, I'm going to call it a night for this week here. We're going to be back next week here, and we're going to probably talk about a couple other things here. Hopefully, for Comic Book Spectrum this week, I don't know if I'm going to be snapping off on. I'm not going. I try. I'm trying to be positive. I'm going to be positive on Comic Book Spectrum. If I truly really need to talk about it, I read the last 4 issues of Wonder Woman. I'm not happy. but I'm not going to knock it because I know that there's other people who may love it. But at the same time, I'm questioning myself, do we need this new fan base in Wonder Woman if they're changing the lore and they're changing things so much that the character is not the same anymore? But that's a conversation that I might bring here than Comic Book Spectrum. But then again, I also read, Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime. I could talk about that. I could talk about Amazon, the last issue of Amazon's Attack. I could talk about that here. But I've been reading. I'm catching up. But yeah, those last four issues of Wonder Woman, I'm just like, I understand why people got upset with issue number 8. I'm upset with issue number 8 because there was no reason for a certain individual to do things the way that he did to get the message across of what needs to be done. But that's a conversation for another time here. Yeah, he was a featured artist in the book Saturday AM. Yep, he was. Great show. Thanks for all the advice. I really appreciate it. Not a problem here, Donna. And yeah, Shonen Jump for Black creators. Yep. Well, that's the thing. That's another conversation that we might have here on Comic Book Spectrum. Why is it there's a bigger jump to manga style books? Is there something wrong with the way that we're doing things here in the United States? That's another topic for another day too. But until next time, we're going to say, "Let life grow and be well." We're about to be out of here for another week. Go and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I know for a fact my friends out there on the East Coast, it's just now turning 11 o'clock, so you still got some Saturday left. Because normally when we stop the show, when we go into our 2 hours, y'all already in Sunday, so that's not fair to you guys. But now you get part of your Saturday back. And for the rest of us, go enjoy the rest of the Saturday. Go relax and enjoy and have a good time because it's only 10 o'clock here. So if you're going out and about and clubbing and all this other stuff, be safe out there. Be safe out there. And then with all the fireworks and stuff going on everywhere, be safe. Don't mistake a firecracker for something else. So yeah, night Donna and night to everybody. And we are out of here for another week. See ya at adios here. Later.